Right, so in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my top 5 favorite war films. It's important to note that I haven't put any of these films in any particular order. Also, there might be some more films which I'm currently just forgetting at the moment. War is obviously such a big term, like it could encompass like medieval battles, but I'm just focused on like modern day war films. So like in the past 100 to 200 years, I'm focusing on that period of time. This film, Letters from Iwo Jima, was released in 2006 and is also one of my favorite war films that I've watched. It basically follows the Japanese army as they try to defend Iwo Jima from the advanced Americans. This film was set in World War II. It's basically based on obviously the American-Japanese conflict during the World War II. What I like about this film, it basically follows a lot of characters, but it follows basically mainly a young Japanese soldier who was conscripted into the army. He owns a bakery, so he basically and he also has a family. And then it also follows this general, as you can see in the picture, the one holding the binoculars. He was the one who revolutionized the defense of Iwo Jima. The general before him planted like the defenses weren't that good, but he made it better. This new general here, and it basically just follows the life we get to see the war from the Japanese perspective, because a lot of films on World War II basically follow the Allied perspective, so they follow like the American soldiers or the British soldiers or the resistance against the Nazis or against the Japanese soldiers. We rarely ever see films that are based on the opposite side, and it's good to see how the Japanese soldiers are, and it basically shows us the audience that these people are just human too. They want to get back to their families, that they have dreams and aspirations, and that the concept of the enemy is very, it's a very loose term to use, I guess, because just like the Americans have family to get to, Japanese have family to get to. I believe there's one scene in this film when this general shot an American soldier, and I think the American soldier had a letter in his pocket from his mother talking about how he wants him to get home safe. And this film's very emotional to watch. It's actually very sad. It's got this very like depressing undertone, but it's actually very informative, I guess. It's a very eye-opening film on the true nature of war and what it was actually like, not just from a Japanese perspective, but also from an American perspective to an extent. I believe they made an American version of this film, but from the American standpoint, from them attacking Iwo Jima. But has to be one of my favorite films on World War II. If you want to watch it, yeah, it's a great film. I highly recommend it. Pretty sad, pretty emotional. It's actually really long. It's over 2 hours, but I've watched it so many times, and it goes by quick. If you're interested in this sort of thing, I'll say. So the next film I highly recommend is this one here, Black Hawk Down. Black Hawk Down is actually based on a true story. It's based on the October 3rd, 1993 raid to try and capture the SNA leader Mohammed Farah Aidid. Mohammed Farah Aidid was wanted by, I believe, the United Nations or the UNICOM for a raid on the Pakistani peacekeepers, which killed him. So this film basically is just a reenaction of the events that happened during the raid. It's called Black Hawk Down because the Somalis obviously shot down, I believe they shot down 3 American Black Hawks, and so during the operation went south. The American forces were ambushed by the Somalis, and they took a lot of casualties, and this film basically just follows what actually happened during this raid. It's a very entertaining watch. This film actually came out in 18th of January 2002, so quite a long time ago now, but I highly recommend watching this film. It's good to watch, as I said, and if you're interested in sort of like that sort of region, the 90s region of international foreign policy, I highly recommend watching this movie. Alright, so the next film that I'm going to recommend, which I really enjoyed watching, is Lone Survivor. Lone Survivor is based on a real life story of a former Navy SEAL, Marcus Luttrell. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing his name wrong. His unit was basically sent to locate a Taliban warlord called Ahmed Shah, and this film was released in the UK on the 31st of January 2014. This film was very good to watch, very entertaining. Obviously not for the people who were actually there, but as a film it was good, I guess. And it basically just follows this guy's unit as he tries to complete his mission. The mission goes wrong, and they're basically just in a fight for their lives. I highly recommend watching this film. And I'm sure you guys will find it entertaining if you're interested in like war films, and obviously like this is basically set in Afghanistan, so it's big. If you're interested in like the Afghan war and Afghan war films, this is definitely for you. Alright, so the next film I recommend for you guys to watch is Act of Valor. This film was released on the 23rd of March 2012 in the UK, and this is actually one of my favourite war films. It basically just follows the life of Navy SEALs as they conduct operations across the globe. Now, Navy SEALs are basically a special operations group within the United States military who work under the United States Navy, and there's a lot of people are interested in the work they do, and how they operate. So this film basically sheds a light into the actual lives of Navy SEALs, what their operations are like, how they go, the risks they take, and basically also the stuff in their personal lives, and the things they have to undergo during training. This film is actually very insightful. It shed light to me, or it brought a lot of information to me on what being a Navy SEAL is actually like, and this film has actually got a lot of action in it, very good scenes, very good acting, and I highly recommend to watch it. For those of you who don't know, this film is actually available on YouTube at the moment, so you just type in the title of this film and go to YouTube. It's actually there, you can watch it. I highly recommend watching it. It's a good film. If you haven't watched it yet, it'd be good to watch tonight, maybe as an evening film. So yeah, Act of Valor is one of my favorite war films, and I highly recommend watching it. Alright, so the next film we have on our list is this film here, Hacksaw Ridge. This film was released in 2016 and basically followed the life of Desmond. As you can see, the main character on the screen is Desmond. He's basically a guy who refused to carry weapons, to use weapons, because of his religion. Obviously, which is a problem in war because you need a gun. He basically goes through his trials in America when he refuses to train with a weapon, and then when he's at war, obviously he refuses to use one. He's basically a medic, and he helps injured people on the battlefield. This is one of my favorite war films. It's not like your typical war film where everyone's just shooting at each other. I like the fact that during the war, he still stands up for what he believes in, which is like not using a weapon. I like the fact that he helped both American and Japanese soldiers alike when they were injured. It's a different perspective on war. It's not your typical war film where it's just one side versus the other. I like the fact that he stuck to his beliefs, even though it was really hard for him to do so. A lot of people would have folded in the same situation, just picked up the gun and just started shooting, but he didn't. This film is actually very entertaining. It's not just war. You get to see like his romantic side as well. And yeah, I highly recommend watching this film if you've got time to. Alright, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the films that I recommend. If you made it this far and you liked the video, please give it a like. If you don't worry about it. And obviously these are only just 5 films. I'm sure there are more films, or more great war films out there. So if you've got any war films that I left out of the list, let me know. There's some that come to mind right now, but obviously I can only include the limited number in this top 5. So anyway, thanks for watching and have a nice day.